paintings.
Oh shit, man! I don't even.
These are actually
Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey.
Oh, Ramsey, the dude that I guess he kind of like runs the spot and shit. That has nothing to do with what we about to talk about, by the way. But these pictures back here are hella dope, just in case y'all didn't know. Anyway, y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Seven Da Pantha. Welcome to Pantha Politix Podcast. Happy New Year. First and foremost, this is our first pod of 2023. Shout out to my sponsor, Pretty Kings. Everybody in Hawaii, one love to y'all. If y'all heard the album of the year episode that just came out last week, you probably heard me talk about one particular project that was extra drippy. And this brother never disappoints. My man Anthony Danza in the building. How you living, family?
Oh, what's up, baby?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed, brother. Now, I reaped high praise on All Hell Danza on the podcast last week. The brother that you made the project with, All Hell YT.
Yeah,
where's he from?
All Hell YT. I think All Hell YT is from Delaware by way of Killeen, Texas, or Killeen, Texas by way of Delaware. One of those. I forget exactly how you say it, but I think he grew up in Killeen, Texas, but his family is originally from back east, and he's always been checked in and clocking in back there through the years. But he's been back east for I think quite a while now.
Okay, I can do. So how did y'all even link up to do the project?
Man, shout out to Doe Networks. Doe Networks is a brother that's very involved in what's going on the indie circuit of music right now. To me, he's one of the filthiest street A&Rs in the game right now. He reached out to me a couple of years ago and just tapped in and got a pulse on what was going on. I think, if I remember correctly, Doe connected All Hell YT and I a couple of years ago, just saying, hey, you guys would be, we dance well together.
No doubt.
And we started just, sending songs back and forth through the years, and we got a couple, but like we kind of never missed. Every time we dropped something, it was one that really went, and it was always, a good chemistry, and it was easy chemistry. So at some point we were just like, man, we probably should, get up and see what happens, and we did. And
that thing is fire, bro. I always, every time you drop, I'm right there. Every time you drop, I'm right there, and I'm always on it immediately. One thing that I did say on the pod last week, and I want to tell you this face to face, I went back. I started from Intel Design, which was the very first time I ever heard of you. I mean, it wasn't the first time I heard of you because I actually met you on tour the previous year. But I went from that project up to this one. And I told everybody, I was like, bro, listen, if you want to
Succession?
In Succession, yeah, I just listened to everything straight through. And I was like, if you want to talk about an artist growing, his pen game growing and growing in front of your face, you are the prime example of that. Like your pen has gotten crazier and crazier every project.
Right. No, I agree with you. When it comes to addressing music or addressing records, my focus is always to make the best record, not to be the best rapper.
No doubt.
On a record, but at some point, I got a real passion for trying to be the best rapper, or there was a lot of venom in being a great rapper to make the best song, make the best record. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I have to fall in love with that process, and it's something that I fell in love with, in the midst of my journey. I wasn't probably, a lyricist first. It was, I grew up on the West Coast. I'm a beat first,
no doubt,
type of listener. And thankfully things changed. Not to say that, I don't, love, the song side of things, because I'm just as in tune with that. But definitely, the message and the story and, a human's intelligence,
yes, indeed.
With that is, it's got a lot of magic on that side of the record.
True indeed. I actually got a chance to watch you work in the lab before, and I was just like, yo, this process is dope. And the process is dope, but the outcome, when people hear the end result of the record, if they only knew what the process was leading up to that, they would probably be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But I love the way you work in the studio. It's very different from myself and some of the other people I work with. You have because you're a producer as well as an MC, your ear is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now I was trying to put somebody on, and they was like, well, where should I start? And I wanted to say Intel Design, but then I was like, well, nah, start from BBS Diaries. Start there, and then we'll go back to the other one. BBS Diaries for me kind of changed the game in regards to your career as an artist. It kind of started opening new doors for you. What was the motivation though to go with that sound and kind of stay with it?
Well, first of all, I'd agree with you too. If someone you tapped in for the first time, I tell them to start there too. It feels like that was like the rebirth, or like the second coming of my efforts. But I don't know. To be honest with you, I had a joint like BBS Diaries that I did 10 years before,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's called Back to the Future. The same structure. I would take the old school joints and flip them and not really do too much over the production. Right. I would
Right.
just scramble the loops up. Use hooks from these original songs and just
Mm.
rap over them and rap inside the mix. Like I was from 84, 83, whatever the song was made, and we're traditionally, in hip hop, we're gonna put some drums over the top of them
Oh yeah.
and rap over the track,
Absolutely.
so you get remnants of the sample, but you hearing a new drum break, or you knew something over it that makes it updated. Well, in BBS Diaries, I was really looping these in arranging these songs to where it was just the raw track, and then I'm rapping inside of their mixes. But I had this tape, that in 2010 called Back to the Future. It's almost the same exact formula, right? Um, and for whatever reason, I kind of just didn't feel like the world was ready for it, or my way wasn't mature to where it was getting any traction. And I think, after seeing London Drugs
Mm.
starting to get a wave, I kind of was like, okay, maybe it's time again. Like maybe people are ready for the sound again. The everything's cyclical, like fashion and everything. Like we
Absolutely.
get away from things and it comes back this way. And I was like, okay, maybe the West Coast sound, the funk sound is the fans are ready to understand it again. So I kind of dusted off the same formula. Some of the songs even were some of the same songs. I just would either revamp a verse or whatever it is, um, and come out that formula again. And just luckily, they were ready for it. Like people were ready for that.
Ever. And I said on the pod last week, I said, this is without a doubt, and I'm not just talking about this project, but this whole run since BBS Diaries came out. It's probably uh, the best use I've seen of loops in that manner since the Bad Boy era. Like I haven't heard anybody else do it that well since then.
Mm.
So um, it doesn't feel forced when you do it. Like I know that you're not. Like when I think about it, when I hear the music, the first thing people would think, well, that's old. I'm like, yeah, but he's not old. Like, watch what happens next. You know what I'm saying? And then you start rapping, and it turns the song into a whole different thing. It's still the same record, but it's a whole different thing now because of the sauce that you add into it.
Mm.
So I think you took a lot of those records and turned them into something that would be more palatable to a younger audience that may not even know where the sample came from. Like sometimes a younger person will hear it and be like, "That's really dope. He made a dope record," but they don't know where the sample came from. So it's like, huh? What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's part of the artistry, and the whole subculture of sampling,
Absolutely,
subculture of West Coast music, and subculture, like there's like, you know, East Coast got a sample culture,
absolutely.
the
Yeah,
West Coast got like a different sample culture, and it's like they all they all kind of have their different rules and different nuances and things like that. So the West Coast sample culture is like, to find out where that melody comes from, or what is that. The East Coast sample culture is you damn near like they chop them up so tough that you don't even. It's not even about
you don't
guessing
even
where.
know where it came from.
That don't even matter. I think on the West Coast, you like it's like, oh yeah, that's an Earth, Wind and Fire joint. I fuck with that. Blah, blah, blah. On the East Coast, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know. But most of the time, like you don't even care where it's coming from. If it's nice, it's nice, and like it's a lot of times it's unexplainable where it is because it's chopped up so
Oh
much.
yeah,
The West Coast likes to the, the culture. They want you to remember what it is, or connect to it. Like, oh, that's a Gap Band song. Like, yeah, like like you get excited about it,
because it give you that feeling. Like, yeah,
and you want to talk about it. And we knew those records. Not to say that people didn't know the records from other places either. And like I said, I could be way off because I didn't grow up on the East Coast, but I'm just kind of guessing on how like the music was made and stuff like that. But I know on the West Coast, like you almost wanted to connect yourself to like I know what that sample is and be proud
absolutely.
about it. So when making those records, like I love to be able to give elements where you can kind of, get it easily, but then at points like hide them and and tuck them away where maybe, oh wait a minute, this is familiar, but that's not the same as this or whatever it is. Like
Oh yeah.
that's a real cool way, of expression as an artist, I think.
Well, that's when you know you're dealing with a real music. Like, speaking of the East Coast, like most of my producer friends from the East, like they be calling out samples when they hear them in a song. Me and most of my other rapper friends are like, I don't know where that came from. I don't care. The beat's dope. Put it on. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right. Like, unless mostly the producers are into that. You know what I'm saying? Though them and some of the other vinyl junkies who may not be producers, but they just like vinyl and old records. So those people are tuned into that, and they'll know where, hey, that came from such and such. And I'd be like, so I don't care. Like, I don't care where it comes from. I have no desire to find out where you paid to clear this sample. None of that. I don't care. Put the beat on and let me rap. That's all I'm worried about. So you're right in that regard. Now, I did want to say thank you because I actually am on a project that you released called The Nickel. And it was a lot of people on that project, and it was really well put together. That let me know, outside of making your own music, just how dope your ear is. I was like, he picked really good songs for this. Like, and you're not even on all the records, so it's like, it's not like you just picked these songs because you're not on my record. It was a song I'd already recorded, but like, what was the what kind of was the idea that led you into doing The Nickel? Like, because you were like on a roll already, like, so you really didn't have to involve nobody else if you didn't want to. But
Yeah, I think growing up, seeing compilations and soundtracks and things of that matter, you know, those are things that I fell in love with, and it was a way to spur off and find new artists and see who fuck with each other, and kind of a portal into different avenues. As much as I love people listening to my music, there's only so much Danza you can listen to before you got to take a Danza break and listen to something else and cleanse your palate and go somewhere else. And there's so many dope independent artists out there right now. Like,
no doubt.
I started finding them and seeing them, and I'm a fan before I'm an artist. When I like something too. And so I'm like, oh man, I want to take it back to the Death Row days. Above the Rim soundtrack. Like, let's put a bunch of jams on here and see who's making hot shit, and not only give my fans some different artists and a change up, but also give the homies a chance to slide up and get some light on what they're doing, and hopefully they can get some traction off of it.
Well, the numbers on that particular record, open bar, by the way, open bar. The numbers on that, the stream numbers on that song went through the roof after you dropped The Nickel. So like, I'm pretty sure most of those were people who never heard Seven Da Pantha before. So I appreciate you to no ends for that. Absolutely.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely. That's what it's supposed to be about. Now, you being, are you from Seattle?
I wouldn't say I'm from Seattle. I grew up in Oregon. My family's from out here. I was born in King County. We moved when we was younger. I moved back up this way as I was, out of high school when I was grown already. So I wouldn't, I'm from here, but I'm not from here.
I feel it.
There's always, I think, an unspoken thing. If you didn't go to high school around here, you can't say you're from here. But I don't know.
Now, you said Oregon and Washington, so that actually kind of helps my question. So something that I noticed when I came here was that outside of Sir Mix-a-Lot, Macklemore, maybe one other person, I can't really think of a name, but hip-hop in the Pacific Northwest has kind of been lost in the shuffle for a long time. I mean outside of, like, I'd say as far as Kansas City, maybe, it was kind of prevalent. Like, people knew who people were. Once you get past that, getting into Chicago and over to the East Coast, I had never heard of 98% of the rappers I've heard from out here since I moved here. And most of them have been making music for a really long time. So it was kind of crazy to me. But have you found it to be any more difficult, kind of putting your stamp on shit being from out here, where people aren't so readily like, oh, he from Seattle, yeah. Like back in the day, if you was from Brooklyn, it was, oh, he from Brooklyn, run it up. But then you say you're from Seattle, people kind of like, well, they rap in Seattle? Really? So, I mean, has it been weird at all for you, like maneuvering, being from out here?
I think anyone that gets asked that question doesn't have a fair scope to gauge against, because you've only been in one city, growing up. Well, I guess if you live in multiple cities, then I guess that you can answer that. But when you're from somewhere, all you know is that space, right?
Right.
I think every city probably has its own ecosystem where they feel like no one hears them because local music doesn't get a national push.
Right.
You're only getting a national push if there's money being pushed nationally behind you, through a machine that reaches, a national spectrum.
Right.
You only say Brooklyn,
Yeah.
or that you're only getting that Brooklyn juice if you hear somebody, like if you from out here or you from wherever you're from, and you hear somebody from Brooklyn that's traveling to your city from Brooklyn. Not now you heard of them, but then you find out they're from Brooklyn. You say, oh yeah, Brooklyn's hot, but you don't know them just because they're from Brooklyn. It doesn't show up on your
Right.
doorstep just because it's from Brooklyn.
Right.
Someone had to put them into a space where that CD landed on your doorstep, that song landed in your ear hole from 92.7, whatever you're listening to. So I think that it's not any more difficult than any other city
Okay.
to get. Now, with that being said, if you're from a big city that has a lot of door openers, when it comes to the music industry, then it's going to be easier for you to walk in those rooms and further your career.
Exactly my next question.
When it comes, yeah, I mean, what, L.A.,
Absolutely.
NY,
Yes.
Atlanta now?
Texas, in certain areas, they have. I think the biggest thing, where my next question was going, you kind of alluded to it, is like there isn't really a quote unquote infrastructure in the Northwest that supports the independent music apparatus out here. Like in New York, yeah, there's Def Jam and all this other stuff, but all this time there was like Lyricist Lounge going on and a bunch of other things that still bubble in the underground today. So there's always an outlet for independent artists to do stuff. One of the things I found, and I also noticed that you do shows, and your shows are pretty dope, by the way. But you don't do in what's the word I'm looking for? You don't do an inordinate number of shows in Seattle just because you live out here. And I think that your reach outside of this area is reflected by the successes that you're having in music. Like I wouldn't say is it a conscious thing because I already know it is because we've had conversations in the past about it. But reaching out to these other areas, and as you travel out to these other areas, do you see anything that exists in those music scenes that we should probably try to institute here to give us a little more stability as a culture overall?
Um, I would say that if you're passionate about doing something, to just go hard with it and do it to death, because what makes a great scene is the individuals in it that are doing their part to, whether it's, you having a crew and you guys go hard, for your city, and now you have this style that people can lean on, and you guys did something great for 10 years, or if it's because you run an after hour spot that everybody can go after, and it's hip hop, and people get a chance to kick, freestyles at this after hour spot, and it's been open for, however long in this certain city. It's people that make the scene, right?
Right.
It's not just a magical, like someone came here and gave us a scene. The reason why New York is so full of value when it comes to hip hop is because there's so many people that are inspired. You have Dapper Dan's that put his life, and dedicated his life to making fashion, and for whatever reason, whether it be money or inspiration or whatever. You got guys that probably lived and died to create Lyricist Lounge,
Absolutely.
Def Jams. These are people. It's not magic, it's not pixie dust that just, saying that just starts doing it themselves. It's people.
Big facts.
So now when you have a huge city that's got, 40 special people that are doing their respective things, now you have this crazy industry. Seattle probably has 11 great people with a lot of other people that are trying their best, but when you have these great people that really that are so inspired that nothing's gonna stop them, and they just do what they do. Now you have these great moments in your city that connect to what a local scene or industry looks like. I swear, going around city to city, I remember going to Phoenix and being like, man, I wish I lived in Seattle. I know y'all got a good scene. People go, like, you guys do tons of shows. There's no shows out here. People won't do shows. No one shows up doing woo-de-woo. And it just made me think, like, damn, people back home heard this shit, they would laugh because they think that it is.
It's the exact same shit.
Hell is shitty back home. But, in retrospect of that moment, I'm like, man, there is shit that I can pull up to, and that people will be like, I can go to Numos and there'll be a sold out show, for, somebody that's local. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens, and people show up. It might not be my cup of tea as far as music goes, or your cup of tea, but it's something's going on here.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But they're out there proclaiming that they got nothing. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, and so I'm like, okay, there's cities that got it worse.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's real. Now, I wanted to ask you about Proof Avenue. I always thought the name was dope. That name is super dope, by the way. Proof Avenue is your record label.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So as of as it currently stands, you don't necessarily have to say names if you don't want to, but like currently, who is that? What is like the roster size of Proof Avenue?
I'm gonna get ready to reveal a whole new list of roster here real soon, and so I'm gonna keep that on the
No
text
doubt.
right now. And I've been kind of waiting to do that for a while because, you know, when I first fired that up, I was planning to be more of a producer. The goal was always to be producing other artists. You know, I'm a fan of other artists in the way people's personalities and what they say in their artistry and things like that. So that was the ultimate goal. It just so happens I felt like I could never lean on or bank on somebody. When it came to teaming up with somebody, whether it's them not being, reliable or not being on the same vision, or you just can't, rely on other people to have the same vision you do, or whatever it is. So, through the years, it's kind of, being put on hold, and I became the, the MVP of my roster right now, and I'm leading it that way, which was not the original plan. But hopefully soon here, we'll change that, and I can bring some new talent to the world via my lens and see how that works out.
No doubt, man. I'm looking forward to that. Now your production career, like I was fortunate enough that I came out here right before. Like mind you, I missed the Back to the Future phase. I missed all of that. But like Intel Design came out the year after I moved out here, so that was like right on time. But as far as production goes, like I like talking to you, I learned so much about your production game and who you produce for. Like, give us some of the names of people you like done beats for.
I mean, my real big run was probably with Messy Marvel, who's a Bay Area San Francisco legend.
No doubt.
And I got to do a lot of production for a lot of Bay Area artists through Messy Marv. But just random here's and there's a lot of local guys. Definitely did a lot of production for Grinch at some point, Raz Simone, a lot of stuff for myself. And just here's probably there's probably a couple of names out there here and there, but yeah, I would say that's probably the bulk of.
It's crazy to me when I think about it because I know Messy Marv like is we even on the East Coast we know who he is. Like yeah, I've always known who Messy Marv is. I don't know. Maybe the DJ is onto something.
We got a caller.
Hey! Thank you for calling Pantha Politix. But yeah, man, we like Messi is because Messi like I went to high school with N1 from Dead Prez, and him and Marv got a joint together on the as a One Nation mixtape.
Bandanas, tattoos, and tongue rings.
They got a few joints. Yeah,
they got a joint on there.
Yeah, these and it's crazy because Marv, like you said, he is a legend. So I mean, knowing that you work with people of that caliber, definitely lets me know that when Proof Avenue starts releasing artists, that I'm expecting some kabooms. Like if they fucking with you, I'm already in. You already know what it is. So like,
it's crazy that you knew that name back, because it was such a regional sound.
Oh man,
to
yeah.
know that you even know that's crazy. Music is powerful.
Very powerful, bro. And I think we're seeing the evidence of that. I remember when you first put BBS Diaries out. And like it's been a couple times we were having conversations. You was like, "Man, I can't. I don't know. Like I'm just rolling. I don't know." And I'm steady watching the numbers climb. I'm like, "Yo, he's fucking doing it." I know we only got a few minutes, but I just want to say before we get into anything else, I don't necessarily have no more questions per se. I do have one. You may skirt it. Most people do, but we'll see. But I do want to say before we do anything else, I'm proud of you, man. Like I watched you go from. I thought you was just a DJ at one point. And then I found out you was a producer, and I was like, oh, he's a DJ and a producer. Dope. And then they was like, well, nah, he raps too. And then BBS Diaries happened, and I was like, oh, shit. And that's what made me go back to Intel Design. So, like, I'm proud of you, man. Like, watching the growth is amazing.
I appreciate it. I'm just trying to hustle and motivate and just, be in the arena with my peers and keep knocking shit down and stay inspired. Like, I feel like if you don't keep yourself inspired, this life can get really mundane and tough to keep making it through. So whatever you love to do, keep doing it, and it helps when you get the head nods and hat tips from your peers. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I'm a hip hop student. Like I grew up off this shit. I love flipping through the credits and understanding who did what and why they did it and where they're from and what the fuck they were eating when they made this shit.
You know,
What was
exactly.
in the water out there in Detroit, when Dilla was making these records, like why did he do this and
Rest
this
in
and
peace,
that?
J Dilla.
All that shit. I love that shit. So, just trying to, follow up on that. I know everyone else is here for the same reason. We're kind of like, this isn't a job that everybody gets paid handsomely to. This is our life's work. So, and I respect that about everybody. It'd be easier to go off and do something else and just, keep the money for yourself and just live comfortably and live cozy and doing whatever you're doing. But we out here trying to run down a dream. Fuck it.
I'm looking at the time, watching the time, making sure. Okay, so I want to ask you. I do have one other question before I get to the weird question I was going to ask you. So I'll ask you this one because I'm sure you'll answer this one. Tell me more about minis. I still have not had an opportunity because usually when I'm up here it's on Sunday and it's not open on Sunday. So.
Oh yeah, minis is my coffee shop. It's a donut and coffee shop over in Factoria Boulevard. It's like a small little hut. It is my joint with a business partner of mine. My sister helps run it. She's the manager over there and holds it down. And we pour amazing coffee and make little mini on the spot donuts. And yeah, man, that's another business venture that I got into that that I'm rolling with the punches with, and enjoying my time, trying to figure out how to do this.
Oh man, absolutely. It's I mean, the one thing I will say is this, and ever since you started minis, I'll share stuff on social media and whatnot, and try to tell people, hey, you should go check it out. You should go check it out because I already know that just from what I've known of you in the last 6 years since I've been here, you don't involve with yourself with no bullshit. So like, you know what I'm saying, and I can say that. So at least not that I've seen. So I can only speak from what I've seen. So this last question is I'm about to start trouble. Y'all know that, right? So give me your personal top 5 Seattle rappers. Be they old school, new school, middle school, whatever, it don't matter. But like, just who would the 5 when you think Seattle hip hop? Who are the first 5 MCs to come to your mind? Not including yourself.
So like my personal favorite, or if I'm out of town and someone goes, "Who is Seattle's top 5?"
Let's go personal. I don't because like numbers have a tendency to lie sometimes. So some people have really huge numbers, but I personally don't think they're very talented people. So, but that's me personally. But I do have a personal list of 5 people that I'm like, yo, if I give you these 5 people and you go listen to them, no matter what else you hear out of Seattle, these 5 people right here, that's it.
Oh man, this is a long question because I know that once we get down and you start, thumbing through who's all available, my answers are gonna change off the rip. Because like, oh yeah, I forgot about bruh. Yeah, no, he's got to be up there.
I feel that, yeah, definitely.
Who's yours? Tell me, and then maybe I can think.
My
of
top 5 Seattle rappers. Okay, well I can't include you because I'm not you. So you and Fatal are definitely on that list. You and Fatal Luciano are both on that list. Seattle. I gotta remember I'm talking Seattle, not Tacoma right now. Well, let's just do Washington. Period. So I mean, so you and Fatal, King Lee's is on that list as well. I didn't realize it very recently just how dope he actually is. Like I had to go back and do my homework. But yeah, Lee's is super dope. What's homie name? God, I can't remember. I'm drawing a fucking blank right now. That's scary. Shit. That's only 3, and they all kind of run together, so that's almost cheating. But
now I don't feel so bad because I definitely would have racked them 2 off in my list as well. But then I'm tripping for not knowing. But guess what? There's probably hundreds of them out here that once we like sat them all down, you'd be like, okay, this is tougher than you think.
Cali Reed.
Shout out Cali Reed.
And Stewie Newton. Yeah. Stewie Newton. It ain't just battle raps. Trust me when I tell you.
No, I definitely will say Fatal is up to, is in my top 5. Lee's is probably in my top 5 too. They both are amazing writers.
Absolutely.
Flows are never out of pocket. Razor sharp punchlines, like heavy, like amazing pen games when it comes to rapping.
Absolutely.
and it sucks because like I get to work with them all the time, so it's like it's not a moment where I be like I can't wait till the day I get to rap with them. Like that doesn't suck, but
Nah, don't suck it up.
They're amazing, man. These guys got crazy high level elite talents.
No doubt. Okay, I tell you what we'll do. We'll make it a little different. Who your favorite producers from out here? That one might be a little easy. Not really.
No, I don't. I guess this is such a tough question because the way the internet works is like you'll skim through stuff every day, be like that guy's dope, that guy's dope, that guy's dope all the time. So I know there's tons of them out there, but
Absolutely.
But because the internet is so momentarily like it doesn't stick in your brain tough. So I mean, I don't know, just say like like obviously Jake One,
Yeah,
super hard, Vitamin D, like these guys got crazy tracks for years. I know there's a bunch of fire out there. That's a longer podcast. So
Absolutely, I feel you. I feel you.
So we got to sit down and start ratting out the names and start.
No doubt.
That's just not fair.
Jake Vita, and you again are on that list for me as well as Antoine Vincent. He's also on that list. And
Antoine Vincent, see, there you go. It's already starting. Like,
yeah, I just talked to Swan yesterday. He was like, I got to get him on here soon too, man, because he's done a lot of dope work with a lot of people. Is there anybody that you really are dying to work with? That you haven't worked with yet, that you like, if I just want to do one song with this person, and I'm not that I'm cool off the rest of my career, but I really want to do a song with this person.
Man, I have those moments all the time, and now that I'm on the spot, I probably won't be able to think about it. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good, bro. You good.
I'm such a fan that I have those moments all the time where I'm like, oh man, I gotta get one with this person from on high levels and low levels. Like I love seeing somebody else's talent and being like, this is what I love about their talent. This is where I would mesh great with them. On this, like I know what type of track we should have. I know what type
Absolutely.
of beat I'm looking for. I know who we're going for as a producer. I'm gonna produce this one. No, we have to have
I feel you.
So yeah, there's probably tons of them out there.
I feel it. Hell yeah. I tried to answer that question myself once, and once I got to like 9 people, I was like, I don't even know why I'm trying to answer this now. Like, this is ridiculous. It's turned into a top 10 list. But man, thank you so much for your time, bro. And we definitely will do this again. I guarantee you, we'll do it again, and we'll do it longer. Pause. Because there's a whole lot of other shit I want to ask you. You know what I'm saying? But
I'll come in more loaded with some of your questions too. I know I didn't give you a lot, so apologies on that.
Bro, listen, at the end of the day, I hope that this is just enough to whet people's appetite for them to go check out your music and let it talk for you for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Until we get back to it. So, y'all know what it is. Anthony Danza, not only is that my man, 50 grand, amazing artist, producer, MC, business owner, he do it all. Believe me when I tell you, you won't be disappointed. Best sampling game since the Bad Boy era. I'm not playing with you. You know what? I would love to see you do a song with Bun B. That's putting that in the universe. I would love to see Danza and Bun B on the record. But yeah.
Danza and Bun B, huh?
I would love to see that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all know what it is, man. Pantha Politix. I'm your host, Seven Da Pantha. We'll catch y'all on the flip side, man. 1.